Welcome to Ali of Danks, episode 6. Hi, Bill.
Hi Konstantinos, hi everybody. Um, Round six is just around the corner. We had a crazy round five, I would say, at least from our side, as we had some mixed results, but then our position in the total ranks got higher. So maybe we'll talk more about this when we get into our teams. But I think. As per usual, let's go first through our suggestions from last week and give some more suggestions for this week for these exciting new fixtures.
Yep. So let's start with the suggestion we had for coaches. So from the top tier market, we had choose Mateo from Real Madrid, but you know, as Bill said, we have some up and downs in this round, and Mateo had a down this round because Real Madrid lost to Virtus Bologna at home. It was a big surprise and a big victory, of course, for Virtus Bologna and Sergio Scariolo.
It wasn't a big surprise in terms of names or teams, but I mean, Virtus was not playing well, was not
Mhm.
scoring high, and he scored 99, 95 points. So, yeah, it was quite a strange game. And Real doesn't seem to be yet a strong team. So we'll see how that goes.
That's true. It lacks stability. I would say that they had in the previous years, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Um, However, from the mid-tier market, we chose Oded Katash from Maccabi and Zeljko Bradovic from Partizan, and both teams win big. So these two uh, coaches that we said, if you want to choose, pick one of the two, they both gave a lot of points to each one that you have selected them.
So they gave 20 points each of them, and that's because of 11 points win. So that's the small seat from our side. So 220s, they're very, very good one.
That's true. But then we go to the deep value market, and that market was very, very deep, I would say. Uh, yeah, we had Penrose, yeah, and Trinkery. Well, in this case, we saw Asvel beat Basconia by, I don't know, like 27 points, something like that. It was
26, yeah.
26. Yeah, it was amazing how good as well played that game. And Basconia was out. They were in a different stadium during that game. I don't know in which arena they played. Uh,
Well,
mhm.
to be honest, I think watching a little bit of this game, um, the way that they try to get Pierre Henry right back to the team. Um, I don't know. It seemed a little bit over the top. He seemed a little bit out of rhythm, over dribbling at some times, stalking a little bit the offense. Um, so it was quite different Baskonia from the Baskonia we've seen on the first four games.
Mhm.
So it would be interesting to see also this week how they develop. If all the guards can again click together as they did before with a new signing. But yeah, I think that is a heavy loss.
I think is I agree, and I think it's an adjustment period, for Pierre Henry to the team and the team adjusting to Pierre Henry play style. They have to adjust to each other so they can give the best possible results on the court. And also Andrea Trinchieri and Bayern, they lost again. I think they're 0-5 is the record now, and they're ahead in a, let's say, tough game. I think against Anadolu Efes in Munich. So these were the choices. Do you want to add anything about Trinchieri or Bayern, Bill?
I mean, we said last week that these two are our risky options. Um, And I just don't know when Bayern is gonna make their first win. It seems crazy that after 5 rounds they have zero, and now they have a very difficult game, as you said, at home. So let's see. I think it can give us a good pass to get on our suggestions for this round, right? And as we said, Bayern is playing Ataman, and if I switch back to the usual view of the coaches,
Mhm.
we can see from the top market here. If I sort by credit, we have Ituli, Saras, Ataman, Matteo, all above 8.5, right?
Mhm.
And they are pretty much playing each other because the first two, um,
We
Barca
have,
and Fener,
mhm,
I
the game.
think, yeah, we can't touch that game. Matteo is playing against Messina, I think in Italy, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes,
Another one that you can't really predict. So from this top tier is only Ataman that also I think is going to be a tough game,
I agree.
um, especially with the way FS is playing. So very more, we see more freedom to the players. So it could go either way, but if we choose one, here it would be Ataman with 9.5 credits.
That's true. This is, I would say again, risky choose
Mhm.
or option, but still from top tier, I think this is the best possible choice. From the mid market, however, we have Barzokas, the coach from Olympiacos. They're playing versus Valencia. Of course, you may ask why not Odet Katash, because Maccabi is playing really well, and Katash the last two rounds gave 25 points each, if I'm not mistaken.
20, I think.
20, sorry, 20. But now Maccabi is playing versus Basconia in Spain. So maybe Basconia wants to bounce back after this big defeat. So for this reason, we prefer to go for Barzokas because Olympiacos playing versus Valencia in Piraeus in Greece. So I think this is the most safe option between these two.
Yeah, agree. And then on this mid market, as we can see on our screen, then from Katas, so anything below 8.5 up to 7, we do have another great option. We have Saso Bradovic with 7.9. They're playing against Zvezda. Um, and yes, 7.9. I mean, I think it's a very low
Mhm.
credit for what they can give.
Yeah, I think we can say it's a steal in a way with 7.9 because Monaco they're playing really well. To be honest.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And
definitely.
and then we go to the deep value market. So that's from Mombro and below. So if we see all the coaches that are included in that list, um, we choose to go with Scariolo because Virtus is coming from a big win in Madrid, as we said, and they're playing at home, correctly?
Yes,
They're playing at home this round. So Sergio Scariolo, I think they would like to build, a momentum in Euroleague. I think it's time for Virtus to build a momentum. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we see Toko back, Tornike Shengelia as well. So for that reason, Sergio Scariolo with 6.3 is our suggestion from the deep value market.
correct. Yeah, and that's our suggestion. This week we have less um, because the more you get into the the mid season, the more difficult it becomes to actually, have some safe options. And as we've seen on each fixture, it's very important that you choose the right coach that could make a difference between getting on a very high tables or be lower on them.
Mhm.
So we can move on then to guards and see how we did last week. So we had James Brown and Chris Jones are top rank, and they all gave above 26. So we have James 26.4, Jones 30.8, Brown 36.3. So bullseye that went very good. On the mid market, we had Winston 20 and Evans 19. And after that, the next three options didn't go as well. So we had Blatt and Larizakis with +4 and Madar +6.6.
Mm, yeah, but still, from the top tier, we gave three names that they gave huge bonus. Also with the 10% win bonus.
Mhm.
And I have to say about Winston, it was your suggestion to be included on the mid market. Yes.
That paid off well, and I really thought that
Yeah.
would be
I
the way
have
to be the
to,
first win buy in.
I
But
have to give congrats to to you in this case.
so,
So let's move to
so
see our suggestions for round six. So
mhm,
from the top tier market, we have of course we have Mike James, but now he's playing versus Cervena Zvezda in France. It could be an easy game for Monaco. We don't know because Cervena Zvezda is very competitive. However, in between the first two names, we will go with Vasilij Mesic. Fes is playing a tough game versus Bayern, but we believe that Misic is very crucial, is very like a pillar for this team. If he performs at high standard, this team will storm and win the game. So for that reason, we go with Misic. 16 credits, they're enough and a lot to spend for a guard, but he's worth it, to be honest.
and just wanted to add, we have a new signing from FS because Larkin is not yet ready to come back. Um, so hopefully they can get some more help from there because Misic currently and Clyburn they are getting very high minutes, so the highest average playing time in Euroleague.
Mhm.
But still, for us, I mean, that's good. He
Yeah,
gets more playing time, and let's hope he gets more points, right? As you said.
that's true. That's true. Um, so the next name we have in our list is Slukas from Olympiacos.
Mhm.
Slukas is playing the last three rounds exceptionally well.
Yeah.
So he's giving points, scoring points, also assist as well for Olympiacos, who is this team is playing really on the autopilot, as we see. And Slukas, you may think that he starts the game very quietly, just like 5 points, but he has his way to find his own rhythm, and he has a way to get into the game and take over the game. But he's waiting for the right moment. So this is very good for this great guard because he has a mentality. As you see, he has like 22, 27.5, and 18 in 3 rounds, and versus Real Madrid in Spain, Basconia in Spain, and Monaco. Three teams which are very, very good teams, and two very tough away games.
Mhm. And also I wanted to mention that probably he will be on the downside of the minutes, so maybe he won't get um, too many minutes this time.
Mhm.
But he, as you said, he's been really, really efficient and he's playing at home. So
Exactly. So for these reasons, this is our next suggestion for the top tier market. And last but not least, yes, Bill, it's Lorenzo Brown.
mhm,
This player, I think, he just, Eurobasket, he was the, as you said, the unsung MVP of Eurobasket. But then went to Maccabi, the beginning, one or two tough games, but now he's rolling again. So he's showing why he is Lorenzo Brown, why he is a very efficient point guard, and he does everything on the court: scoring points, grabbing rebounds, assist, creates for the others. So there are many areas that he contributes in order for Maccabi to perform that well, and has this position in Euroleague at the moment.
mhm. Um, just the only maybe risk on that is that he's playing away from home.
Mhm,
But apart from that, yeah, if he's played to his standard, he's a lock.
mhm,
Then if I go to mid market, um, so let's get down to then lower credits, skipping some great players. Um, and if we get down here, sorting by credit, we
mhm.
can see the first name coming up is Winston. Since he was a successful selection last week, we're gonna stick to it for another one. He's playing at home, and FS at this point is not having, let's say, um, the highest focus on their defense. FS on playoffs is a completely different team, right?
Yeah.
The best team we all know, but for now, probably Winston should find ways to FS basket, and with him increasing the minutes, he's been part of the team, and we think that would be a good choice. And as you can see here, he started with around 19 minutes and now jumped. He's gaining minutes. Last game he had 29 minutes. So hopefully that will be um, Trincary's tool here for this game. And then
Mhm.
we do have just a little bit uh, on the second page, actually. We do have walk up. Um, so walk up is not coming from a very good game. So last, as you can see here, last week against Monaco, in terms of fantasy points, he only got 6 fantasy points. So not a great contribution. But if we see what he did before that, the 3 games before that, he was on double digits all across. And his contribution is been on different sectors. So he's contributing points, rebounds, assists, steals. He's doing pretty much everything for the team. And he usually gets at least more than 20 minutes. I would want to think that the Monaco fixture is an exception. So with that in mind, against Valencia with 9.4 we have walk up. And then sorry, you wanted to say something, Konstantinos?
I want to say for Winston that I think the way
Winston.
for
Mhm.
Winston, um, what we said about Pierre Henry that he needs to get adjusted to the team, and I think this is happening with Winston. He started not that good, but I think he now is finding a way that he can be part of the team. That's why he's being more productive in this case, and also, you know Andrea Trinchieri, you need to play in his style. You need to adjust to play with this coach. So I think that time now is the time for Winston to um, step up the game and just go and do what he does in the last 2 games.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. And then another option then from the mid market, again, we're sticking to what we did last week, is Evans. So as you can see, Evans is averaging almost 15 points, and he's averaging also almost 15 fantasy points as well. Um, he's running pretty much, I think we talked about this last week, Zalgiris game, and we can see, for example, 9 assists on the previous game.
Hmm.
But consistently, you can see he has at least 3, 4 assists. He scores mostly on double digits, and they're playing at home against Berlin. So we'd expect a big fight and Evans to be the point of focus for Salgiris.
That's true. That's true. Um, I think he's very mature. His game is very mature this year, and I think it was a good step for him to go to Zalgiris and just be the guard for a team. That will improve his game as well. But as you mentioned, Alba Berlin, let's go to the deep value choices. And one option that stands out is Tamir Blatt from Alba Berlin.
Hmm.
So with 7.8 credits, but you see that he is giving 14.9,
Hmm.
right? So with 13 points, 5.4 assists, I think he may not have that good game versus Valencia in the
Yeah.
last round, but still we have to give him a chance, because from round one till round four, he was very productive. You see stability, and that's very important for a guard. You see stability in points. You see he had a game versus Armani with 9 assists, and that's a big game in Italy. So you see that he likes to create for his teammates. So I think Tamir Blood should be uh, a main option from the deep value market.
Yeah. Um, okay.
Mhm. Then if we go to, is it on page two?
Yeah.
Yes.
Here he is.
Yes. So Larentzakis, we talked a lot about him in our episode so far. So again, with 6.4 credits, but given 11.4 points on average, I think he is a main factor for Olympiacos. Not because his playing time is um, so big. He doesn't have all these minutes, but what they say in basketball, it's important who is closing the games, who starts the games. And if you see, he almost plays 20 minutes, but that's because in the fourth quarter, he almost plays a full fourth quarter because he's that effective, that crucial for Olympiacos. Because, as we said in the past, in our previous episodes, he knows his role, and that's why he's very effective and efficient.
Hmm. Yeah. And then I guess we do have one more, and that's quite deep value.
Yeah.
So I have to go way low, and we can see here Di Bartolomeo.
Hmm.
So Di Bartolomeo is coming from back-to-back good games. You can see he's gave more than a 5, so almost 10 with a bonus win as well on last week. He scored more than 6 points on the last three fixtures, and he's getting more than 10 minutes, or around 15 minutes playing time. Um, so that's a one to also get him with a little bit discount, because he started with 5.9, but now um, he dropped to 5.3, and now he's back to 5.5. So if we run out of credits, that's a solution. So it's not a solution that will give you double credits, sorry, double points, fantasy points, but probably will be a solid solution for something below 6 that is quite difficult to find, right?
Mhm. In this case, would like to mention two names. One name is Puerto from Valencia. That's from the
Mhm.
deep value market that we see because Puerto is very effective and efficient. For Valencia, he's playing really mature. Um, and of course, he had a bad game versus FS, but still, if you see all the other games, he's um, very productive for the team, and of course, fantasy wise, if you see. And he gets a
Yeah.
lot of playing time. So you see, of course, you see a game with 14 minutes, but then you have 26 versus Berlin, for example, at home, which shows that coach Mumbro trusts him
Yeah.
uh, to play a game. The other name that we would like to mention, um, well, this is, you know, it's between mid market and top tier, is the Argentinian guard that came back from the NBA in Euroleague with 10.4 credits, and I think it's 10.4 if I'm not mistaken.
Is it? I'm just maybe then I skip him. Let's see again. Um,
It's not on the first page.
hmm, let's see. Ah, because I'm
Uh,
on average, maybe. I'm not sure. So you're
it,
talking about Vildoza. I mean, we have
exactly,
this technical issue, but
exactly. I'm looking about Luca Vildoza because he is
let's change.
playing really well at the moment. Um, Maybe because you have no. I thought because we chose all rounds, but still, Luca Vildoza. I think his value is 10.4 credits. He is starting to mesh well with team, uh, create for the teammates, also scoring. And I think he shows why he's the guard for Cervena Zvezda. So that's another option that we mention for you if you want to go for another guard.
So Zvezda have a difficult game though, but yeah, I mean his quality should have worked that through.
Mhm.
So very good mention, Vildoza. Yes, 10.4 credits. And with that, I think we completed the guard. So
Position.
we
Mhm.
guard position. So we I can go back then to our last week's tweets
Mhm.
and continue to forwards. So last week we had a tough week in terms of forwards. Although we just said before how nice were the results on guards. The top forwards, Vezenkov, Clyburn, they only gave us around 15 points, so 14.5 Clyburn and 16 Vezenkov. That's way below their standard. And then we have Musa giving 11, well, supposedly 14, but then that was not correct. And then we had some strange things happening in that EuroLeague game. But
Something
anyways,
something happened about the free throws. I heard. No, joking.
yeah. So there was a point when Musa makes a turnover and Virtus steals the ball, and instead of a turnover assigned to him, there was a made free throw assigned to Musa. So also the official score of the game, it was 92-95, but then EuroLeague accepted that mistake and they get back to 91-95 as it should be. So they also that affected also people who had Musa in their fantasy team. So he actually gave 11. And then we had Smith and Sederkis around the 10 as well. But then we have Zusman giving us +8. That was quite well. And then the rest, Sorkin and Marinkovic, quite disappointing on just 1.1, and Marinkovic actually on a negative.
Yeah.
So this week, um, we will try to steal things around maybe a little bit at the forward position, Konstantinos,
I
or
think
not?
so. I think it's time to bounce back. I think it's time to bounce back. At least we can fix forwards and then we see for the rest. So for the forwards, now for the top tier market, um, we still have Vizhakov.
Mhm.
I think Bill mentioned that in a previous episode that his price was 16.5, but now he dropped to 16.4 because he didn't have a good game versus Monaco. So now of course, it's 0.10, the difference, but still it's a nice opportunity if you want to have a Zankov in your team.
Getting Rosenkov with a discount should be, the thing to do, no matter how much the discount is,
Yeah, I think,
because
I
you
think,
can see
yeah,
start at 14.10, and whoever didn't get him within the first 3 rounds, and he has to put to pay really much. Um,
true.
so probably also he can bounce back to his usual plus 20
Yeah. Mhm.
fantasy points.
I think no one says no to Vizhakov at 16.4. Really, he's that good, and of course he's playing versus Valencia at home, so it's a nice opportunity for him as well. No, to find the rhythm again, going back to the big games he used to have.
Okay, so then we have a Zenkov with 16.4. Um, what else do we have here, Konstantinos?
Well, I see other two names on that list that are from top tier market.
Mhm.
Um, you see me, I'm hesitating a bit, but it's not because of the player, but it's because of the game. And what I mean by that, it's Gabriel Deck. He had what a game he had versus Virtus. Uh, 34 total, giving 28 points, 6 rebounds in total, 3 assists, 1 steal. I mean, he was he had the game for Real Madrid, for himself, of course. So for 12 credits, I mean, look overall, only with versus Olympiacos he had a single digit fantasy points with 5. But other than that, he's performing really well this year for Real Madrid.
Yeah, and as you said, he single-handed almost a win versus Virtus.
Mhm,
He the same way that he almost stole the win in Barcelona.
mhm.
Um, so this is another tough game that they will need someone to step up, and it seems Deck this year, wherever someone needs to step up, he will be there.
True.
Uh, So hopefully he will keep it on.
Yep. And the third option we have from the top tier market is Kevin Ponder. He's playing versus Panathinaikos. Partizan is playing in Athens this round, but he had a very big game versus Algiers with 26 points. So we think that after round 3 and 4, now it's time again for him to go back to his, um, let's say, if you see also round 1 and 2, his normal fantasy points around 20 or more. And I think the game in Athens is a good chance for him to go back to this type of games because if you see from scoring perspective, um, he has 2 games with 26 points from what I see. So that means a lot. That shows that you who is the top gun in Partizan
Yeah.
for the moment.
And I guess the only question would be his playing time.
Hmm.
If the game is quite close, probably he will get more playing time.
That's true because Partizan will need scorer and effective players.
Yeah.
Efficient.
Yeah. So with that, we can go to then the mid market, I guess, Konstantinos. So,
Mm.
do you want to walk us through that?
Yes, of course. So then we go with 10 credits or less. So if you see the first option is Ben Bentil with 9.7 credits, but he's giving 16.2 fantasy points so far. He has 14.2 points, 4.8 defensive rebounds, 1.6 offensive rebounds. He is, of course, you see playing time, he gets more than 20 minutes in every game, but he has only, let's say, bad game versus Basconia with that gave 6 points fantasy wise. But other than that, he is very stable, very efficient, and if you see last game, 12 points, 13 rebounds in total. Let's take into consideration that Vildoza is playing now in that team, so Vildoza can create more chances and opportunities for Bentel to score and produce, of course.
But they're playing in Monaco, and you know he has some difficult matchups. I think we need to mention that as well.
That's true. That's true. Probably he'll go versus John Brown, who is a defensive master, let's say.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he has a tough game, let's say like that, because Monaco has very good players in the paint at center position and also forward with Moreman as well. He's a
Hmm.
EuroLeague veteran.
Yeah. And then we can see just below him Molinde. Um, he's only 8 credits.
Mhm.
So some savings then from Bent, let's say, and he's scoring 9.2 points. As you see, he's getting rebounds, almost yeah, more than 5 rebounds average. He's contributing also on the ball movement, um, and he's getting his minutes so consistently. As you see now, he's getting more than 20 minutes on a given game, so that's quite much time for an 8 credit player. And if we exclude the game at the FES in Istanbul, then he's giving back double digits, around 15, pretty say, on most of the games. So that's our second selection for mid-market forward.
And the third choice that we suggest is Smith from Zalgiris with 9 credits. You see that he's giving 12.5 fantasy points, but I think that's why this summer, he left from Barcelona and went to Zalgiris. He went there because he will get his playing time, and it will be a good chance, an opportunity for him to get playing time and find his game momentum. So if you see, he has more than 20 minutes per game, even 28 versus Barcelona, his former club. But he is giving scoring points. Of course, he versus Maccabi has 9 points, but also if you see, he has 9 rebounds as well.
Yeah.
So he is the player that he's grabbing rebounds and getting points for Zalgiris. So for 9 credits, Smith is our other choice.
And then we can go to the deep value market,
Mhm,
um, and actually quite low. If we go below 7 credits, then we have one name is really is here that we want to talk about it, and Sussman.
mhm,
So Sussman is been again averaging above 20 minutes for his team, and he's finding the role finally. And we have him a very good double week against FS and Panathinaikos with double digits points and high returns. Um, so in any case, if he keeps up um, the good playing, he should have around something between the Valencia and FS game. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah, true. He's providing scoring for Alba, so he can do that versus Zalgiris as well. And if he does, I think he can give a good fantasy points for us.
Yeah, he's a role player
Yeah.
in Berlin. So, and then I think we have something that we never done before to give someone from the lowest possible credit.
Yeah, and that's Ricochet from Asheville. Uh, so he had a game versus Basconia and gave 5.5 fantasy points. But if you see, he
Mm.
had 5 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 turnover. But still, 1 turnover is for a rookie in Euroleague and for playing 22 minutes. That's really something. That shows that he's very focused when he's on the court. And mhm,
Yeah, I wanted to say that he is the son of the
yeah,
Riza said the older French player, and I think what's worth mentioning is what you were telling me before this, Konstantinos, about his playing time.
yes, he had 22 minutes versus Basconia, and Asfel recently released Lacombe, another player that they had, and the team said that they will give more opportunities and more chances for Risase going forward. So in this case, I think we would see Risase more on the court in this EuroLeague. We may not see him for 22 minutes, but his role may be 10 to 15 minutes for a role player, but that's enough for him to continue to shine and perform.
Yeah, I mean, if he gets more than 5 minutes, I think for 4 credits, it's
Yeah,
fine,
it will
right?
be it will be a steal, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. Great. So then I guess we can go back, um,
Mhm.
switch here and go back to our center. So last week we've had a great center selection. So we gave Tavares with 27 fantasy points, Lesor 20.9, Nibo 19.8, Fall 17.6, and Kumadze 20. And I have to say, as you give me props about Winston before, Kumadze was really your pick,
Mhm.
Costadino. So congratulations for that. Another
Thank you.
plus 20. Very good
Thank,
job.
thank you very much. Thank you. I see that we have created a good, combination of center and guard. We need a bit to work on forward
Yeah.
position, and I think for coach we have it at the moment. So only forward need to be a bit adjusted. Uh, to be honest. So you
So
are,
with that,
yeah.
yes, let's go then to our selections, suggestions, let's say for this week for center. We are not mixing up things much. So we are actually sticking with Lesort and Tavares at our top rank selections.
Mhm.
Tavares is at 15.2. He actually gave 27 um, fantasy points last week. He scored, sorry, apologies for that. He scored double points, double digit points. He had double double, as you can see, with 10 rebounds. So he's getting back to his usual good um, ways of playing. And his numbers, his minutes, they are now, at least in the last game, was more than 30. I mean, we want him to get more than 25, 27, because as you can see, before that 32 he was having games with around 26 minutes, 25, 27 minutes average. So he has also a tough game. It's a tough game for Real at Milan. So um, we expect Tavares to bring on his A game again. Less short than the other pick, 13.3 credits. So he's coming back from good games, back to back good games, as you can see, with an exception of the first that he gave 14.
Mhm.
Every other one, he is above 18 with a bonus of the week, of course.
Mhm.
And I think what most importantly here to point out is the fact that is he's probably the only pure center in the team, at least in terms of playing time, right? So
Yes.
that's why you can see here he had games with 40, 39, 38 minutes. Um, so in any case, he's gonna get highest users in the next game, and we think with the opposite players at the paint of Panathinaikos, probably he should be having a good game.
Yeah, maybe he will dominate the game, but we don't know yet. But you
Hmm.
know, his numbers are showing that he can dominate a game definitely. So then we go for the mid market,
Hmm.
and for the mid market, of course, you see the first name Lovren. Unfortunately, he was injured in last round. He got a surgery, but he will miss, I think, 6 months. So we may not see him in the rest of this year. Maybe he's back at the end, but you know, we wish speedy recovery for Lovren and all the best. So for the mid market, we choose Yusuf Afol, his teammate, for 9.8 credits, but he is giving 17.3 fantasy points. So as you see, if we exclude the first game versus Armani, that he had 8 fantasy points, but still 11 points and 4 rebounds. All the other games, he is productive. He gives points. He's grabbing rebounds. He's having almost, I think, versus Maccabi has a double double, if you see, and versus Valencia also double double. So I think now with the absence of Lovern, he will be the dominant and the most used center. Of course, as well sign Alex Tayos, Euroleague veteran. He played for many years for Maccabi and also for Real Madrid. He played few games, but I think Yusuf Afol will be the center for as well going forward.
Yeah, exactly as you said, and averaging here, as you can see, 8.8 rebounds, 12 points. So that's very good numbers for a center.
True. And the other option that we have is Kumaja with 8.3 credits.
So I think that's down here.
Yep.
Come on.
So if you see 8.3 credits but 17.6 fantasy points. So Kumaje is, of course, Alba had Alba was missing Timan and Lammers in previous games. So Kumaja was the center for Alba. He was the main guy in the paint, as you see also from the playing time. But he is very, very stable this season. You see that even if he has a game versus Armani with 6 points, just 6 points, but he also has 7 rebounds and he can give you 16.5 points, of course, with the um, win bonus.
Bonus. Yeah.
But still, yeah, but still, only with 6 points, still he finds a way to be that productive and give you fantasy points. I think Kumaji is a very good option if you want to go for a mid-market center for your
And
team.
he started all the way from 6.2, right? So this is a really deep. We had them in our previous week on the deep value.
Mhm,
But now, from 7.8, he jumped to 8.3.
mhm.
So if he continues his way, he's making his way towards, the 9 plus. So we'll see. Hopefully, that's the same. Like that's what happened with our other pick here on mid market. Yusaba Fall used to be our deep value, and then it became our mid market
Exactly, exactly.
option. Yeah. And talking about deep value, we don't have many, just one option this week. and we select the first player that you see on the screen. Martin is averaging 7.8 points and more than 3 rebounds. He's giving back almost 9 fantasy points as average. Recently, he had a couple of good games at Real and versus Bayern. And as you can see, he's a consistent role player for Sveda. So um, we hope Sveda will need him on his best when he plays at Milano.
That's true. And for one more time, I will add the Vildoza effect because the big guys can be effective if the guards are, feed them well and put them in a position to be effective. So I think Martin will benefit again from this partnership with Vildoza on the court.
Exactly. Cool. And with that, I think we concluded our suggestion for this round. So we can go through to our team and talk a little bit about the ups and downs of the previous round.
Mm-hmm.
So our team Aliop Dunks, as you can see on the screen, we had a really bad. I mean, you would see that later, but we had a bad actually week. We thought that things weren't clicking because, of course, Bezenkov, our captain, didn't produce its usual. We had made our plans, and actually, we managed to put a plan before the start of the fixtures because we changed to Misic against of James, so we can have a player that plays on second fixture that can be a captain. So in retrospective, um, that that action was correct, even though it didn't pay off because Vezenkov actually didn't go well. So we would have stayed with Vezenkov as a captain, but then we have another chance and we had Misic. However, very strangely, Misic scored 2 more points than Vezenkov. So um, not a huge difference for us, right? We just gained 4 points in total more.
Yep.
So if we had actually kept James, we would have scored, if I'm correct, around 6 points more in total. But in any case, we now from 140, we are back. No, we're back. We're for the first time on the top 100.
Mhm.
So as you can see here on general, we are climbing on the 99 position, and hopefully, we are able to keep there. It's very, very tough to be on the top 100, right?
Of course, very, very hard. And, um, you need just, as I always say, of course, captain plays a huge role, but also the coach. If you have a coach that will give you 20 points, for example, it means that you may have on the bench some players with less credits, but coach will give you the points to cover this gap, let's say.
Yeah, yeah. And as you can see here, that's what we did last week. So we had Katas for back-to-back fixtures for us, giving us 20 points. We had Lesort giving us more than 20 points for very good score. And we had Brown. Brown gave us 36.3. And we did have misses. And Vezenkov, as I mentioned earlier, wasn't best results. And then, our bench didn't perform
Yeah,
on its best either. But in any case, our main focus is our 6 players that give us the full points, they give us the most they can, and also um, the coach give us the most. So, with that in mind, and as I said, we were not very happy with 155. Let's see what we can do. Although we gain capitals, and that's mainly because of the two centers and Katas and Brown.
Mhm.
let's see what we can do on the next round.
Yep. So as you see, for round six, we have changed coach. So uh, we thank Odet Katash for his contribution, but in this round, we wanted to go with Sasa Brozovic. His team, Monaco, is playing home court versus Crvena Zvezda, and we think that his team has the best chance to win the game and give us enough points from the head coach perspective, of course. Then we wanted to add another marquee player in our team to have, as Bill said, six players that can be really productive. And this player is Kevin Ponder. So,
Welcome back.
well, well Kevin, welcome back. We have a press conference tomorrow. No, I'm just going. I'm kidding. But we wanted to have Kevin Ponder back because, as we said, he's playing in Athens versus Panathinaikos, and it is a big chance for him to keep the momentum and have a really good game, and of course, give a lot of fantasy points. In this
Mhm.
case, yep, Bill.
But that meant in order for us to have a six first class, let's say, players. So
Mhm,
we're keeping Lesord, we're keeping Yusapafol, we have Ezenkov, we have Panther, we have Misic, we have Brown.
mhm,
That meant we needed to, get some very cheap players to
mhm,
complete our team.
mhm,
So then we welcome to our team Dilo with 4.4 playing against Zalgiris
mhm,
at Kaunas and Bohoridis of Panathinaikos playing against Partizan. Now we chose these players because of their playing time, and if
mhm,
you can see here, they're actually given some points. So in all cases, what we want to avoid is to have minus um, score from any of them. So
mhm.
both of these players has not given any minus, and they actually have given more than five a couple of times, and they have quite much playing time.
Yeah.
And that's the rationale behind this.
Mhm. And also, if you think, as Bill said, if you have a good coach and a good six players, then the bench give you 50%. So it's not that crucial then to have a good bench in total. I mean,
Well, it would be if you have built it, enough credits. Um, so probably for people who have managed to select also James and Vezenkov at the first round. Um, and Misic maybe and Clyburn. I'm not sure if credit wise was that possible, but I
yeah.
guess some people have done that strategically.
Mhm.
Then probably you swap one for a couple of players in the bench as well. But we have some way to get to there, right, Konstantinos?
Yeah, we need to build. We need to build a lot. So let's see if we bounce back this round from the previous one. And of course, step by step, but I think we're in good court now, you know, to build a very steady team and a good team.
So the debate we had was the captain, who would be the captain,
Hmm.
and we had many good options for round one because we have Brown, we have Misic, we have Panther, um, but we end up choosing Lesort, right?
Yes, because as we said earlier, we think he can have a very dominant game versus Panathinaikos in Athens. So in this case, and when we mean dominant, we mean 20 points or more, fantasy points. I mean, so with this in mind, we wanted to go for Lesort. Keep in mind, Lorenzo Brown and Vasilij Misic, they're playing away versus Baskonia and Bayern. Bayern is Pander is playing versus Panathinaikos, but then we chose Lesort just because he is capable of giving us these fantasy points we want and we need.
Yeah, cool. So let's see. Fingers crossed, everything goes well.
Yep.
And if not, then we still have a Zenkov playing on the second round.
Yeah.
That he is our main capital till now.
True.
Um,
And of course we have Yusufov on the bench for round two, so he can be our sixth man or add it in the first five, depending what we want.
Perfect. Cool. So that's our main team then, the Aliop Dunks, and then we have our development team. If I
Hmm.
may swap to that, the deep value. So you can see here, um, deep value. We are trying to build up some momentum because we didn't start very well with that one.
Yeah.
Um, Again, we have a very good selection of coach with Zelimir Obradovic giving us 20
Hmm.
points. Kumadze, as we mentioned earlier, 20 points. Ledey also had a decent game. Um, we talked about Musa, great game from Jones. Great game from Winston that we mentioned earlier. And then not great. Our bench was a bit of disappointment because we thought with Wetzel, Hayes Davis, we would score more,
Hmm.
um, but unfortunately not. And then the big disappointment was Clyburn, that was also selected as the captain for the second round, but unfortunately he had a bad game. And seems like for the first, if I'm correct, I think is the first time that he will devalue. So let me just check that. Yes. So as you can see, he started with 13.7 and he's been adding on its value all the way to end of the round 5. But now, because of that game, the first game that he scored on single digits, he's dropping to 14.7.
Yeah.
Um, so if you guys believe is time for him to bounce back, then I guess it's a good time to get him if you don't have him yet on your teams.
Yeah, because
Going,
he's getting. Let me add that he's getting the
Mhm.
shots that he wants, and of course, playing time, as you said, he has very high use of average, but still he gets his shots. But it was not his game. Let's say versus Fenerbahce, the derby.
Very correct. So going into our
Deep
our team
value.
for this. No,
Hmm.
no, we're already there. But if we're
Yeah.
going for the next round, then formation.
Hmm.
The first head coach is our first change, where we get in Scariolo.
Hmm.
Um, that was one of our options in the deep value market with just 6.3. And then we decided to actually change Clyburn
Hmm.
and get Slugas instead
Hmm.
because we think that he's been a little bit more stable um, recently as you spoke about that Konstantinos more extensively earlier, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And also we are getting Olinde and Sorkin. So all in all, we think we have now more depth in our bench.
Exactly.
As you can see, with Jones, Lucas, Olinden, and Wetzel all playing, and Kumadze all playing on the second round, um, we just want Winston, Sorkin, Musa, and Ledey to really deliver on round one. And if some of them not, then probably we do have the tools to bounce back on the second round.
And also with this team and with these players we have, we can also adjust the system the way we want. For example, for round two of round six, if for example Winston plays well, then but let's say Obst and Sorkin they do not have the game for
Mhm.
us, then we can have three guards with Lucas, Jones, and Winston, which are very as options are very good options, and they
Mhm.
all give fantasy points, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
And we have to add at this point, don't forget that we have the rule, we cannot have the same players,
Hmm.
for example, in both teams. Like we cannot have Musa in this team and on our main team. So for that reason, you see different players in one team and different players on the other team, and coach as well.
I think the coach is the only one we've said we would,
Yes.
if we need to stay on the same coach, as it's not the same player. But yeah, we selected the deep value as well,
Mhm.
coach. And we have Chris Jones. Since you mentioned about the different sound team, Chris Jones could easily have been on our alley-oop dunks,
True.
especially with just 12.1.
Yes, that's true. That's true. But he's having a good stretch now, the last games, but he's playing versus Olympiacos, so that's a tough game.
Yeah, and I think his matchup with Walkup will be a tough matchup, as Walkup is quite big guard. Yeah,
And defensively, he's very productive.
yeah,
Thomas Walker. I mean,
yeah. Cool. So I think that's it from our team. I guess Lede will be the captain for the first day of the fixtures, and then if he doesn't perform, then we do have the solutions of Slukas or Jones,
mhm. Yes, we have several options that we can choose from
or
for
even
our captain,
Kumadze, to be honest.
or even to Kumadze. Yes, I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
To be honest, yeah. So if you have any other ideas, any suggestions, you may leave a comment on YouTube or uh, post it on our Twitter under the posts. You may leave a comment as well with your choices and your suggestions for each position, and of course for each, if it's top tier market, mid market, or deep value market.
Yeah. So thank you all for staying with us, and hopefully you have some great results. Um, and for ourselves, hopefully we can keep being on the top 100 and keep rocking.
Yeah, it would be tough, but yeah, we will try our best. So we'll see you in the next episode, and until then, have a good game and see you then.
Enjoy the game. Bye all.
Enjoy the game. Peace.